What's up guys, my name is Ivan Valdovinos, and on this channel I provide tips, tricks, advice, and strategies for your graduate school applications. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. Many of you are considering applying to graduate school for this upcoming application season. And many of you are also pondering the question, should I pursue a PhD or a master's degree? In this video, I share with you some questions that you might want to ask yourself before selecting to pursue a PhD or a master's degree. The first question you want to ask yourself is, what is my career goal? And the reason why you want to know what your career goal is, or at least have a well-defined idea of what you want to pursue at the end of the degree, is because it's going to help you determine which degree you want to pursue. So for example, there are a couple of degrees you can select from. So there is terminal master's or professional master's. There is a research theoretical master's. And there's also obviously a PhD, a Doctor of Philosophy. And if you're in the education space, you can also pursue a Doctor of Educational Leadership degree. And so all these degrees have different components and lead to different career choices. So let's get into some of these degrees. So a professional master's or a terminal master's degree is going to help you gain a skill set that you will utilize in the workforce. Usually this degree consists of basically coursework. Usually it's 1 year or 2 year, and what you do is you pretty much build your skill sets through this well-defined coursework. That way you're able to apply those skills into the real world. An example of this degree is a master's degree at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, where I attended. The HGSC program is a terminal master's with the goal of preparing you to be an education leader and to use those skill sets in whatever sector of education and apply it to the real world, to your future career choice. So terminal masters are really good for people who want to gain a skill set, apply that to the real world, but also maybe move up in the corporate ladder if you are in industry in terms of education. So that's a good choice for people who want to work right after graduate school. You could also pursue a research master's or a theoretical master's. This is a good fit for you if you are interested in gaining expertise in a discipline and know how to teach that discipline. So this is more of a theoretical based master's where you gain some research skills as well as teaching skills, and then maybe potentially you want to work as a professor. With the master's degree, you could only teach at the community college level in your discipline, and so this will allow you to do that. Typically, it includes a research project or a thesis and comprehensive exams, as well as coursework. So you're able to gain that research skills, those teaching skills. In essence, this provides experience in research and scholarship. And this is a good pathway if you eventually want to pursue a PhD. It will give you a little taste of what a PhD will entail because it's heavily reliant on research and scholarship. And so if you are unsure if you want to pursue a PhD, a theoretical or research master's could be the pathway for you. This research master's could also help you explore a sector in your field that maybe you have never really thought of as an interest, and it can hopefully lead to a dissertation at the end in terms of a PhD. Another graduate degree you could pursue is a PhD or Doctor of Philosophy. This could be a good fit for you if you want to ground yourself in a body of research and develop the ability to add to that body of knowledge. So what this means is that you are developing and creating your own research project, your dissertation, that hopefully fits the gaps of what hasn't been researched in your field. So you're contributing to that body of knowledge. And if you decide to become a professor and a researcher, your job is to continue to fill these gaps in knowledge in your field and create new knowledge. And that's really what you're doing if you want to pursue a professorship or a researcher position right after your PhD. Typically, the PhD consists of 2 to 3 years of coursework, comprehensive exams, a research proposal, and a dissertation and defense. So that's kind of what you should expect, all the milestones you should expect to complete in order for you to achieve a PhD. PhD training helps hone skills such as writing, research, teaching, data analysis, and communicating complex topics in your field. So it's a great way for you to gain all these skill sets if you want to utilize these in the workforce. The next question that you might want to ask yourself is, how much time do you have to pursue a graduate degree? So the master's programs and PhD programs have different completion timelines. So for example, a master's degree could take 1 to 2 years to complete, whereas a PhD program typically takes 5 to 7 years and up to 10 years to complete. So you want to think about factors within those time frames. Are you able to live on a low income, limited income budget? So for example, as a graduate student, you're going to be broke. So are you willing to be broke for 5 to 7 up to 10 years? Are you willing to also maybe not start a family, for example? Some people don't want to start a family while they're in school. Are you willing to put that on pause in order for you to pursue a PhD? I do want to say that a lot of people do have families while they're pursuing a PhD, and it's definitely attainable, but most people would rather not. So think about these factors as well when you're considering a PhD or a master's. Another factor to think about is your long-term plans. Like, what are your long-term plans? Does that fit with the timeline of your completion of your PhD or master's program? Think about these different factors. That way you're able to make the best decision for yourself. Finally, the last question you want to ask yourself is, how much can you afford to pay for a graduate degree? Most PhD programs do provide full funding, and if they don't, I personally wouldn't apply to those. I would attend a program that is going to be fully funded, that provides you with tuition and fees payment, as well as a living stipend and health insurance. If they don't provide you with those basic that basic amount of funding, then personally I wouldn't pursue that PhD program. So I would look for a PhD program that's fully funded, that way you're not coming out with debt, any loan debt or anything. Most master's programs, especially at elite institutions like Harvard, Brown, Stanford, Columbia, etc., do not provide funding. They provide strictly loans. They might provide you with like a small little, a grant, but it's not going to cover the whole thing. So you should expect to receive, or you should expect to borrow a good chunk of loans to fund your master's program. If that's the case, then I would consider definitely applying for a 1-year master's program versus a 2-year master's program. That way you're not building debt. One way to combat that debt is to work as a researcher or as a TA throughout your experience. That way you're able to maybe potentially get tuition remission and maybe a living stipend. And that's pretty rare for most master's programs, but it's definitely doable. I know some of my friends who had done master's degrees, they were able to pay it off while working at the institution and getting tuition remission. So look at your options when you are applying for master's programs, because typically they don't come with funding on the onset. All right, guys. So I hope this video was helpful in helping you determine if you should pursue a master's degree or a PhD. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I can help you with determining which is a good fit for you. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.